Welcome to an incomplete guide to personal growth. We invite you to take a breath and take a listen to our podcast that explores the wonder, humor, challenges, and sometimes those self-inflicted wounds on the journey of personal growth.
Our weekly podcast conversations include stories, resources, and tools that you can incorporate into your daily life. We're the mother-daughter duo of Sydney West
and Kelly Arundel.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Sydney.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Doing well.
Really good morning.
Yeah, good. So I have, I got my hair cut for the first time recently in almost 4 months.
Yeah.
And I can go a bit, I don't mind.
Longer hair can do that.
Yeah, I don't mind it. But it's just so hard to find a stylist, that you like and that knows your hair type, because curly hair I feel like makes it even harder. And then you have to like their space, you have to like them somewhat because you spend time with them. It's just
you're
so
stuck
hard.
in a chair, so you have to like them.
Yes, and I feel like that's the worst part about moving is finding a stylist. And it's like one of the last things I ever do too is find a stylist.
It is. You can find a dentist, but your hair is so...
I know.
You remember that time in Collierville? I was trying to find somebody, and I had just started getting some low lights put in my hair because my hair is so thin that it really helps to have that edit on there. And I came home, and it was blonde.
I do remember.
And Dad was out of town, thankfully. Lauren called me from school because she was feeling sick. And I said, honey, I think you can make it, because I wasn't going anywhere. And so I had to look up online to find an emergency type of person who would redo what was done. It was awful. I'm not blonde in any way, shape, or form.
You've never been. No.
It was awful. So, I understand. That's horrible. Yeah. So did you think you found one?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
I think so. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with her. I feel like some stylists, when I talk about my hair and I talk about how it's been cut in the past, and I want them to show off their knowledge. Because if they don't show off their knowledge to me about curly hair, then I don't. Because I tried one other stylist here before, and they just they're like, oh yeah, curly hair. And it's like, okay, but you're not telling me how you're going to, because
what are you gonna do?
It's different. Yeah. And then this one was like, oh, you can use this product and this product. And then, we'll do this because I know this happens. It's
yes.
I want, tell me.
Yeah. Because
you go to school. You go to school. Right. So tell me.
I don't have curly hair, but curly hair can frizz. And then when you cut it, it shrinks up or whatever. So
it can look like a freaking triangle sometimes. That happened in my past. It's awful. It's awful. So, so I think I found a good hairstylist. And this ties in to our topic of friendship this week. Because a big thing is having people that you just have as acquaintances and stuff through what I've read and stuff. So,
I think that's
you sent me something, and there are 4 types of friendships.
Yes, right? I think there's more, but there are 4 major ones, right?
Yeah.
So
you have acquaintances, social friends, so people you just go out with, you may not...
More the fun type.
Yeah, fun. Then you've got intimate friends, you talk more, and then you've got epitome of friends. And I feel like that's probably the smallest circle, where you literally tell basically everything.
They're the ones that you tell your dark stuff, and you're going to
joys,
call them when you're
everything.
Celebrating, and you're going to call them when you're not.
Because I feel like intimate friends are those that you let in most of the way, but there's still a little bit of a wall.
Yeah, there's still a little bit.
And I like that. And so whenever I was doing research for this topic, because I think it's fascinating, and it is, friendships are so hard. But literally, I would type in millennials in friendship or Gen Zers in friendship, and everything there is loneliest generation. Gen Zers are so online, but they don't feel like they really have any close friends, blah, blah. And there are these polls and Pew Research that has to do with how, starting with the millennials and on, it's we feel like we have fewer good friends. We have fewer best friends. Like, it's crazy. And then all these old people are just friends. Sorry, are friends with everybody. And so I just thought it was interesting. It was just like loneliest.
You just called me old.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
But loneliest.
You're going to be lonely in a minute. No, I'm just...
But loneliest, like, they're just article after article after article. That's all it had to do with is how lonely we are. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what you found. I know you did some too.
I saw some of that too. I did. And I found, well, you just talking about the acquaintances and things like that. So I was thinking, do you all go to the store as often? Do you have those chance encounters for acquaintances as much?
Yeah.
You have groceries delivered. And I was thinking about this because I thought, so I think I'm going to start going into the store a little more frequently.
Yeah.
To have those kind of interactions instead of picking up my groceries. Because I do notice that when I go in and just have a brief encounter with the clerk, hey, have you,
It's nice. Yeah.
There's something that goes on there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'd like never, I only go to the grocery store if it's like, well, I forgot to put this on my pickup or my drop off because like I love Walmart delivery and that's all I do. No ad, but for real, like Walmart delivery. That's all I do. I don't go into the store and then when I'm in the store, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah. And the one thing I did see is, you know, we blame a lot on COVID, but this was happening before COVID.
Yeah, I think so too.
The studies show that it was before that. This might have enhanced it.
Yeah.
But the loneliness and what is it? Is it social media that you get so caught up in it?
Maybe.
Our phones, I know that makes a difference. Because I can see people in restaurants and they're both on their phone. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I don't know that they have true, and I didn't see answers for it. I just saw that this is a fact.
Yeah, I didn't see much either. I mean, COVID definitely enhanced it. So, like, a big thing that I saw online was fringe friendships. Like, that was a term that I saw. And having these, you know, you go to the coffee shop at the same time every day. So, you know the barista there and you kind of have a little chat. And maybe you know a couple details about each other's lives. Or stuff with coworkers because we're not really in the office anymore. Or stuff, you know, going out and just having these fringe friends that you enjoy seeing regularly and you get some fulfillment out of it. And that is actually, they tie that to being happier and people having, you know, better mental health and all that stuff. They tie that more to having more fringe friendships than necessarily having to have a ton of really close friends. Like having the fringe friendships actually makes you happier.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking because I know, okay, let's even begin with the college group. There's a lot more online classes.
Yes.
I mean, you know, Lauren with her master's,
Basically
she goes down
home
some, but
masters.
a lot of it's online. Now she reaches out and tries to meet in person with some of those people.
Yeah. But it's hard. Yeah.
But that's different. And she even said, you know, it's different from going to class and sitting next to somebody or getting to know them.
Physical proximity matters. That matters so much.
And I think that then we get used to not going out and being around people. And it kind of escalates.
And then, too, I don't know. I mean, I know, and okay, I'm like, when you were younger, growing up, or like even just young adult, like, I feel like to me, it feels very difficult to just maintain friendships. I don't know if that's because now maybe there's that much more to do, or is that much more to choose from to do, or I don't know if you felt that way too, like the maintaining of. I'm not talking about like getting into your 30s and 40s after kids. That's
No, this is before when and I was thinking about that. I worked in San Angelo, Texas, which I did make some friends there, not my age friends, but other people that I worked in the church. Yeah. But it was very difficult to find friends. And that's not a good place to be single.
Yeah.
It wasn't back then, but it was very difficult.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Arlington
Yeah.
and worked at a larger church, and a lot of the people that worked with the youth that I worked with were single and younger.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
I had this built in.
Yeah.
But I needed some other, and it was very difficult. And I went through kind of a diff of going,
Really?
how do I find
people? Yeah.
So
yeah.
it was hard
So even
then.
then. So I think it's just
Yeah.
always a constant problem.
Because you have your work groups, so that would be your acquaintances,
Yeah,
kind of the people you see, some at
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
Some may be social because you may get together.
Yeah, and the groups can kind of
Right,
cross.
but then
yeah,
they're your work, and sometimes it gets outside of it, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's a difficult age
It is.
to find the friendships.
Because, you've your whole life you're in this institution where, if you're going to school and then let's say you go to college, like there's friends. Done.
Yeah.
Like that's so easy. And then you leave college, and if you leave the town that you went to college in, then you got to start over. And if you don't, like at your church, it's like if you don't have people your age at work, then what do you do?
What do you do? And
arguably it could be easier now to find people since there's so many things you can search online for classes. You don't have to look in the
you don't have to look in the newspaper. But like Meetup,
that's
that's an app. I've looked at that. I've tried to offer stuff through that.
Yeah.
Kind of worked, kind of didn't, but it's hit and miss. But again, those are, you find things based around commonality, interest, right?
And then the other thing that I found, and I think this is very true, I think as our generation has gone on, there's a big lack of trust. Big lack of trust. And it has to do with, honestly, if I go out to a neighbor here or in Oklahoma or somewhere, how do I trust they don't have a gun on them? How do I trust that if I say something they don't agree with, that it's not good? Like, how do
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. How do I trust that? And how do I trust that if we disagree, if something comes up, that it'll just move on? Yeah. How do I trust? It's just, there's this huge lack of trust. We have a lack of trust in institutions from,
Yeah,
crazy.
I hadn't thought about that. So this lack of trust, because I always think about friendships, to me, they all start out as acquaintances, where you slowly get to know. So you don't just blurb your stuff. You kind of get a feel for where they're at.
Yes.
And then you drop stuff or you delve deeper.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things they said about Fringe groups is it introduces you, keeps you connected to people different than yourself.
Yes. But, which is important.
Yeah.
But I
again,
think so many
Fringe.
people now, that's Fringe. And I think, I don't know, I almost feel like it's getting to the point now where people don't even want their Fringe friends to be that different from them.
Probably.
Sometimes.
Because of fear. I get it.
Yeah, because of fear,
Whereas we could just be different in the neighborhood and didn't care.
And I mean,
it was just what it was.
Exactly. But I don't think that's necessarily how it is anymore. Now, granted, I've always fit in in my neighborhoods, but that's not always the case.
But that is kind of interesting because then you put your, we got the election season going to be coming up and you put your sign, but you don't. I never put signs up, but I did this year, and I was almost fearful, But my neighbors had a different sign up, and we just kept talking.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
But you don't know now.
You don't know.
And so I think there's just this huge, and I even wrote down also maybe a sense of fear.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, I'm not going to, both sides can get extremes, and I don't want to get into that. I think it's just the way society right now is, it just seems very polarized in general on all sorts of topics. And so it's just a matter of how do you build that trust back to create these fringe friendships again? And I think that just takes something from everybody inside, kind of, to be like, I'm gonna put myself out there.
You have to put yourself out there.
And that's so hard, even when you're purposefully trying to make friends, putting yourself out there. And so it's like, do I put forth the effort to just have a fringe friendship? Yeah. And it's so hard.
Yes. That's all I can say.
I know.
It is difficult.
Yeah.
I can remember doing that. I was thinking about this, and when I was in Arlington the second time around, I had kids this time, but I still was needing friends.
Yeah.
And I remember Sister Joan Chittister. She's a Benedictine nun who is just that's funny. Out there. She's just great. Very, well, she's quite old now, but anyway, Doesn't matter. She was coming to speak at TCU, and I thought, I don't want to go by myself. So I asked a few people that I knew kind of worked at the church or were around the church and asked them, and they said yes. And so a group of us went, and that was the beginning. We went, we ate, and then we ended up with a bunco group. But it was like scary for me to reach out, especially to go hear this, you know. But they know. Yeah. But it was great. But it was very risky.
It is.
I felt it was because they could all say no.
Yeah. But and that's always a possibility.
Yeah. So it is. The other thing, I don't know how much this plays into it. There's a lot more we hear about mental health.
Yes. Yeah.
So now we're aware of people that are going through difficult times and how hard that is to reach out.
Yeah.
And then couple that, I just found, and this is interesting, it'll be on our website, but it's through the American Psychological Association. There was an article that I read by Zara Abrams, but it talked a lot about mental health and not just happiness, but our mental well-being and friendships.
Yeah.
The importance of that and the fringe.
Yeah.
How that makes you feel inside. Just that interaction that somebody reciprocates.
Acceptance, yeah.
And how difficult it is, but if you're standing in line just to start a conversation. I used to make fun of my mother for that.
Oh my God, yes.
And here I am. But
know.
to just to have a conversation.
Yeah.
About shoes, about what, anything.
Yeah.
And I think about that because when I'm with other people, I'm much more likely to laugh.
Yeah.
To find, they struggle with something I struggle with. So therefore I'm not alone. I'm laughing.
Yeah.
I'm having a conversation. I'm getting out of my own head and having a conversation. All those things, if I don't have those, there are times when I don't.
Yeah.
And I feel it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, because I can sit and watch a funny show, but that's not the same as being silly with somebody or saying something. And it just.
Yeah. And I think I don't know. I feel like starting a random conversation in line. Oh my gosh, because it's like you have to think, okay, how busy is this person in front of me? Will they receive? I just think I hate it. I don't always hate it, but sometimes weird people want to start conversation, and I'm just not about it. And maybe I'm weird to somebody else. They are not about the conversation. But I don't know. I feel like then that's the risk. Most people are just polite, so you'll make it through the 5 minutes, and who cares if they hated you or not? But I think it's just there's just this so much self. Talk and self-criticism going in there.
And what if that person is weird, but they're needing a conversation? You just gifted them.
That's true. That's a good way to look at it.
They may not be able to have a conversation at home.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think about that a lot in lines in different places because not everybody has that and they need that interaction. It's important. It says so in this article, but just to do that.
Yeah.
You're opening up.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're connecting to somebody in the community.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all that matters. You don't know what kind of day they've had. They might have needed a smile. They might have needed a funny that you said, whatever.
Yeah.
Or just a hello.
Yeah.
That's that others don't, We don't think there's this other side.
Yeah.
That's out there.
Yeah. Gosh.
But she talks about... what was that? That even the interaction, even with strangers, can give our mental health a boost. Yeah. And you think about it, if you're having a hard day and you're having mental health issues, it's that much harder. But it makes that much more difference.
Yeah. That's true.
Yep. So
there's so many, I don't know, aspects and personal. Personalities and just I think the way that people seek friendship and it's different for everybody. So it's hard to just be this is how you do it.
It is. And I think I was thinking too that, and you have it in your neighborhood, you have intergenerational friendships.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I think that's important because you were talking about one time how one group kind of takes care of another and makes sure you're okay. And it's you learn that. Yes. From the generation previously.
Yeah. Yeah, about how to treat neighbors, how to respond when they ask for help. Yeah, that's true.
And I just think there's so much, and so that's a friendship. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that's blowing my mind, I'm really trying to learn about it and be okay, is how many friendships are online that you never meet.
I know.
In person.
I know. And that's something...
Because through gaming and other, I don't know, whatever Discord and all that other stuff is, but I know that it's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Friendships do occur and help.
It is something that I also struggle, because I'm just not... That's not ever how I've made friends, you know? So that is also something I like struggle with thinking about, but it is a real... I agree. It is a real thing. Yeah. I think it does happen. I think sometimes it can take more effort to make sure it's genuine and that, you know, you're really going to be people that follow up with each other.
And they're real people on the other end. I don't know about all that stuff.
You're not getting catfish.
Yeah, that's the... But, you know...
It is, yeah.
I have a spiritual director that I've never met in person. She's in Massachusetts.
You've Zoomed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's why we do it all the time.
See, I feel like I'd feel better if I could, like, see their face.
You got to see them. You know, I guess not everybody sees each other.
Not always.
Oh, well, that
like when they're playing games, like you just hear each other, like you.
But eventually, maybe you see each other.
Maybe. Yeah, you
I think that'd be. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
I know. It's like I need to see what you look like.
Yeah, and just as I mean, part of it is responding to facial stuff, facial expressions and things, right?
Oh my gosh, and it's so hard. Like if you're trying to text somebody that you want to be your friend, but you haven't been. It's like dating. It's like, okay, let me not overanalyze this text message I'm about to send about maybe they'd want to hang out and do this, but do they like to? Maybe they like doing that. I guess they can always say no and suggest something else. It is so hard texting somebody that you want to be your friend, because you don't want to seem like, oh man, there's somebody that uses 10,000 exclamation points. Oh, there's somebody that uses too many emojis. Oh, there's somebody that just puts a period at the end of their sentence. What is that? Like, you have to think so hard.
Oh my gosh, really? You're not supposed to. Somebody made a comment about that to me. That I was putting, don't put periods.
No, don't put periods. It seems very serious. It's very like, it's like you're man.
Oh. Well, man,
like if I see okay period. Oh, what's up?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's got to be, and even if I see okay spelled out, I sometimes can't do that.
See, and Lauren says
Lauren wants it.
She wants it, and this is so. Y'all need to get over yourself.
Well, we're slightly like
You're
she's just a little
everything.
younger, and I know we do.
Y'all do.
I know, but it's texting, and oh my god. So hard. I have no solutions for that one, but it is difficult trying to figure out how to text a new person.
You know what? I think that's part of the problem.
What?
I'm just going to say the loneliness factor.
Yeah.
Not hearing a voice.
Yeah.
But just texting.
Yeah.
You don't hear the tone.
Yeah.
You don't hear the laughter. And I love to text. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know,
but
it's
true.
a great way to say, I think of you. Or this made me think of you.
But if the only way you have long conversations is over text, it's difficult.
Yeah, because...
My thumbs get tired.
Well, yeah, you know mine, you know. But it's just, that, if it's going to be a long text, I pull out my iPad. So I can
type it out.
Type it out. But, yeah, because I think that just takes away the element of being there.
Yeah.
Of seeing the expression of...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. It can. And I think that seeing somebody is important. And that's why those fringe friendships, I think, help. Because you only have those, like, by chance meetups, you know? Yeah.
I have a poem here.
Oh.
That I came across by Robert Frost, who I always like. Yeah. It's called A Time to Talk.
Okay.
I thought about that. And it says, when a friend calls me from the road and slows his horse... Okay, stay with me. When a friend calls me from the road and slows his horse to a meaning walk, I don't stand still and look around on all the hills I haven't hoed and shout from where I am, what is it? No, not as there is time to talk. I thrust my hoe in the mellow ground, blade up and 5 feet tall, and I plod. I go up to the stone wall for a friendly visit.
Oh.
And that's just an image I think about.
Yeah, it's such a good image.
I think about my neighbor. I drive up my driveway and I drive into my garage.
Yeah, you don't see
She's outside sometimes, But if I don't purposefully,
Walk
there have
over
been
there.
times where I jump out of my car to make sure she's not going in the house yet so I can say hello
hi,
because it's been too long.
Yeah.
And I think we just get that.
It's so true.
And that's what made me think, this poem made me think of, stop, look around at your neighbor, at who you see walking down the street.
And the time you take to talk is important.
And the time, I don't just yell, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
No, say, hey, how are your kids doing in band?
Yeah.
How you go that extra step through the conversation.
Yeah.
But that's what, it just kind of tugged at me to go, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. You put your stuff down and you encounter the people.
Yeah. That's so good.
So I like
that poem.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I feel like that could be our challenge. Start a conversation with somebody in line. If you're at the grocery store or somewhere, getting your coffee, talk with the barista. It's as long as it's not too busy.
If you notice something like this one in that article from the American Psychological Association, she said, ask somebody what they're reading, for example, or ooh, I like earrings. Why airplane earrings, or why whatever earrings. Comment on this common situation. If you're standing there and all the decorations for whatever holidays next is out already, make a comment.
Yeah.
Do so. Doesn't have, there's not depth. Mm-hmm. It's just opening. It's saying, the other thing it's saying is, I see you. Yeah. And everybody, well, there's some people that don't want to be seen, but they're probably robbing a bank or something. But, everybody wants to just say, people want to be seen for the most part.
All righty. I like that. But yes, for the most part, people do want
to be seen.
Nice.
I know. I'm sorry. Then I'm thinking about the lady that comes out and picks up her paper in her pajamas. Maybe she doesn't. She might want to. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So that's a good challenge for the week, is to notice. Yes. And when you do that, notice the response of the other, but notice your own feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And see if you are more aware of when somebody maybe begins a conversation with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And how you reciprocate with that.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Good challenge.
Yeah. Awesome. So, if you kind of checked out our page and were listening to our podcast last week, we've got a meditation out. This is our free one from Kelly. Mm-hmm. And you can subscribe to our Patreon page to keep kind of getting more of those and getting some extra content that way. She'll do some meditations for us. So make sure to check out our Patreon and definitely review and like our pages and review our podcast and Instagram, website, we have a Facebook page, like everywhere. We're everywhere. So please connect with us. If you ever have questions, please, or topics, please feel free to reach out to us. Mm-hmm. You can message us on any of those platforms and we'll see it. And then next week we have our first guest.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
Stephanie.
Yes. My friend Stephanie Allred will be joining us. We'll have a little interview with her, kind of bouncing off of this topic of friendship. We're going to talk about community, and how she kind of sees that and feels the importance of it in her life. And how
she works at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. A really great guest. So I hope you'll make sure to listen for our first kind of guest interview episode. We hope to definitely do those fairly regularly, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we look forward to being with you next Tuesday while we take a breath and take a listen.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of An Incomplete Guide to Personal Growth. There are many ways you can stay connected. Follow us on Instagram at An Incomplete Guide Podcast, where you can sign up for our email list and get posts that delve deeper into our weekly topics. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast page wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would really appreciate a rating and sharing us with your family and friends.
We're so glad you chose to spend your time with us and hope there was a thought, a resource, or a laugh that you can take on your journey. We'll be here every Tuesday for you to take a breath and take a listen.